Hello everyone, I hope everybody is doing great. In today's video, I will show you how to obtain stress versus strain curve using ODB file without needing Python. I will also explain on the way what stress definitions are input in Abaqus and the output stress and strain definitions you are going to get through ODB. So let's jump into it. Okay, so this is the model which I have already created to save time. It's a typical uniaxial model. I started with modeling the part, which was 10 by 10 by 10 cube in this case. For properties, and everything is in millimeters, so all the properties should be in megapascals and tons, etc., as we have discussed in my other videos. So if you look at the material definition, I have elastic properties, which is 210 megapascals, 210 gigapascals, so I convert it to megapascals for steel, and I'm using some random stress plastic part of the stress strain curve, and again I'm giving all the values to be true stress and true strain values. So remember, Abaqus input should always be in true stress and true strain because it uses the Cauchy stress definition, and that is basically the true stress definition. So again, I'm using a bilinear type linear type hardening where I'm only giving two values, so it will take the plastic part as a linear as well. So this is what I have done. I have assigned it to this material properties, to this part, and then if I go to step, I have a static general step where I have non-linear geometric option on because I'm going to go into the plastic limit. I gave the increment size minimum and maximum to be 0.1, so it should at least give us 10 outputs. And then if I go back, there are no interactions because it's only one component. For load, I have defined the typical uniaxial loading, so I fix this face in Z direction, this face which is on the other side in X direction, as you can see, and the bottom face in Y direction. And then I keep this face and the other face free, which is kind of a simulation of the uniaxial case where two faces are. So you have a free lateral motion or contraction due to Poisson's effect, and then I have a uniaxial displacement on this side. So, and then mesh wise, I have used a mesh size of 1 millimeter. So I have 10 elements by 10 elements by 10 elements as a model. For that, I just used the seed size of 1. So this means 10 elements by 10 by 10, I will explain. Everything else is default. I didn't change anything. I created a job, I ran it, and it ran fine. So now let's get into the results and see how it looks like. So when I press this, so you see it's a typical uniaxial deformation. Generally now, if you want to plot the uniaxial stress strain curve, then you can plot it for any element. You can plot it for all the mole elements. You can do whatever you want. So in this case, I will plot for one element, and generally sometimes you want to check that everything is consistently behaving as you have defined in the material properties. So if I am plotting that, and if I have many number of elements, so I will always go for a region which is somewhere in the middle, away from the corners and edges and boundary conditions, so that I don't have any numerical issues on you. So what I can do is I can change the view for now, and I can remove some of the elements. I would say, let's say, remove these elements. Then so you see these elements are gone now. If I bring it back, so this is somewhere in the middle of the sample. So let's say if I want to plot the stress strain for the middle, which is away from all the boundaries, surfaces, edges, which could cause stress concentrations, etc. Okay, so now what I will do, I will go to the tools, XY data manager, create, operate on create XY data from ODB, field output, and then I will select strain type which I want to plot. In this case, the strain is in X direction, so it will be LE11 since it's a uniaxial case, and also the relevant or corresponding stress quantity will be S11. Remember, if I have non-linear geometric option on, then in that case this LE is basically a logarithmic strain and it's a true strain definition. If you don't turn this logarithmic non-linear geometric option on in the step module, which I will show you again later on, then in that case you will not get LE, logarithmic strain, but rather you will get E11, E22, and these are generally engineering strain definitions, but they are only valid for very small deformations where your non-linear geometric options are not really present. So on those for those small deformation, your logarithmic strain or engineering strain, I would say, is equivalent or equal to, approximately equal to the engineering strain. So E will be equal to LE. That's what I'm trying to say here. So if you have a large deformation, I would say analgium option in the step definition, which I should show you here, which is this one, which is on, should be on. Otherwise, if you turn it off, then you will get E rather than LE in the outputs. Okay. So now I go back to that without wasting time. I have LE11 selected, which will be a true strain in one direction, and S11 selected, which is stress in one direction. You can also plot, for example, Mises stress as a function of equivalent plastic strain, which is PEQ. So again, it depends on what you want to do. Same analogy will be used. So now I go to the element and I will select the central element for which I want to plot. That's done. One element selected, and I will say save as is for now. Once this is done, so I have now the strain and stress. If I plot them, you will see they are as a function of time, both stress and strain. And as I told you in the material definition, I have a bilinear stress strain definition, so linear elasticity, and then plastic part is also linear because I only assigned two values, so which I can see here. So everything looks fine. Now, if I want to combine them so that I have stress here in the vertical axis and strain on the horizontal axis, which is currently time. So what I will do, I will say create, operate on XY data, combine. I need horizontal axis, I need logarithmic strain, and on vertical axis I need stress. So I just double click on that and I save it as S11 versus E11, and I press save. So now I have another variable here, and if I plot this, then you can see this is the plot between stress versus strain. If you want to change any of these things, for example, the colors, anything else, you can go here, options, XY options, you can change the color styles. Let's say if I want to bring some symbols here, so I can bring those here. For example, this is the series which is plotted, so I will select here, and you can see now I have the markers. I can change the color of the line. For example, I can make it blue. I can also go back here in the options, XY options, and I can change the things which are on the axis. So for example, on the horizontal axis, it's a strain, and the title of the axis is strain, which is fine. It's just a strain. But for the vertical axis, it will be useful to have units because stress has a unit. So I will put megapascals. And if I press yes, so you can see now I have this. I can also change the font type. I can play around with the sizes. I can do, for example, some other font as well. If I don't like this one, calibrate, I apply. So you see now font is changing as well. So again, you can play around with this. If you are not happy with the grid area, so for example, if you want to change this color to white, like me, I usually prefer to have it white, so I can change that as well. So this way you can have some nice diagrams. If you don't want to do all these things in Abaqus and you want to have a better software for plotting, then you can go to this report, XY data, you select this, and then you go and you can basically ask for the output as S11 versus E11.dat or whatever. And you can remove this append because if this file already exists, and it will add this data at the end of the file. And I want to have it only this data in the file, and you can see where it's saving. It's going to save in the temp folder. And then you can also see if you have multiple data sources, and you can interpolate. You can have separate table for each column, and also you can have multiple more decimal places accuracy as you like. If you want it in scientific, engineering, or automatic, so it depends on whatever you want. So if I press OK now, so you can see the file is written. And if I go to the temp folder, which is in C, and if I bring the file here, then you can see I have the stress strain data. So x-axis is the strain, y-axis is, if you remember, is the stress. And now you can take this data anywhere else in Excel, GNOplot, or whatever you are using. So I hope this made sense. I hope you liked the video. The key message is Abaqus ODB output is not automatically engineering stress or strain. You must choose the correct stress strain definition. Stress versus logarithmic strain is basically the true stress and true strain. And if you are using, sometimes you can use reaction forces and displacements to compute stresses and strain as well. That generally is the engineering stress because you divide it with the original area and original length. If you're confused about that, then comment below and I will make a short video on that as well. So this is how you extract a stress strain curve from Abaqus ODB without using Python. And I hope this helped you. If it helped you, then please subscribe to Professor 3Mac for more Abaqus finite element modeling and computational mechanics tutorials. If you have any further questions other than this, even advanced question, then please comment below and I will try to come back with some kind of suggestions or tutorials or help. All the best. Take care.